Hello there, in this video we are going to talk about looping through a dictionary. So let me open my whiteboard. There are actually 4 ways of looping through a dictionary. Python gives us a lot of flexibility. We have three methods, or we can loop without a method. Now, you don't need to memorize all of them. They are mostly based on personal preference and they give very similar results. The first one is items. The second one is keys. And the third one is values. Or you can loop through without a method. So let's see each one of them in action. And let me go to my code editor and let's begin working. So first of all, I will need to create a file. Let's create looping. Touch looping.py. Let me open the file looping. And let's work with our glossary example from last time. So as I said, there are three methods: items, keys, and finally values. Let's look at each one of them one at a time. So for item in glossary dot item, you can print the item. And let's see what we get. Python looping.py. Now, what happens when we get each item using items? It creates a tuple. That's why we learned about tuples. It creates a tuple of key and value. So if you want to get the key, you can do item and get the first value from the tuple. You can get value using the second indexing, so 1. Now you can do f string, key, and then colon and value. Python looping.py, and so the key is operator and the value is the definition, a symbol used to perform calculation. That's how items method work. It gives you a tuple, gives a list of tuples like this: key, comma, value. Now there is a shorter way of using it. Instead of opening the tuple like this, getting the first item as key, the second item as value, what you can do, you can directly get key and value like this, and it will give you the exact same result. So this is a shorthand notation. That you can get two values directly here. Python looping.py, and so the first result is from the first loop, the second result is from the second loop. To show you, they give the same result. That's how we use items. Now you can probably guess what keys and values will do. Keys will only give you a list of keys. For key and glossary.keys, you can print the key. Now let's run our example, python looping.py, and we got the list of the set of our keys. So here are our keys, and that's what we printed. Now one very important thing to understand is that you don't need the keys method. If you do for key and glossary, you will also get the keys, because that's the default behavior. Keys is the default behavior. So if you want, you can do glossary.keys and get the key. Otherwise, if you don't provide any method, that's the default behavior. So let's run our code and let me show you. We got the same thing. And values will just give you each value at a time. For value and values, not values, glossary.values, and you can print the value. Let's run it, and we got the values. So why is it getting stuck? We got the values. Now, one very important thing for you to understand is that all these three methods, items, keys, and values, they are not mandatory to remember. You can get the same behavior using no method. So as we saw from here, for key in glossary, so I'm not using any method and I'm getting all the keys. So let me run it and show you. I'm getting all the keys. And in order to get a value, well, you can get a value like this, value equal to glossary, and put a key here. Now for each key, you will also get a value, right? Now let's use an F string, and we can print our key and our value. And we got each key and value. So I think this is the simplest way of looping through a dictionary. You are getting both key and value without using any method. However, if you prefer using method, you can do them, but that's how I prefer. This is much more cleaner way. There is no reliance of any method. By default, it will give you a key, and you can get the value like this. You can put the name of the dictionary, and using the square bracket, it will give you each value at a time, and then you can print them. That's the way I like. And you can see the examples from the book. They explain the same thing. Looping through the keys is actually the default behavior when looping through a dictionary. So for name in favorite languages is same as for name in favorite languages dot keys. So that's the idea. So this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.